I have received the missing parts for my build, and well, let's start with them. I've picked the Samsung 860 EVO SSD. I looked into getting NAS specific SSDs because of the read-write capacity, but this was a good price, and it had enough capacity. I think it's rated for 250 terabytes per year, and that the NAS ones are go for 500, but since this is going to be only for boot disk and logs, I didn't want to pick up the cheapest option nor the most expensive. 250 gigs is a lot for a boot disk, and I considered actually using one as a read cache on ZFS, but actually my setup, since I'm using gigabit Ethernet and I have 8 spinning disks, my setup doesn't really benefit all that much from a read cache. I'm the only user besides the web server that I host. So I'm saturating gigabit on 100 megabytes per second, so I'm even gonna run my VMs straight from the storage RAID and not having a separate volume. I promised my girlfriend that at the end of this year I would restart my projects, meaning that I'm not gonna do anything anymore this year. I'm only gonna continue the projects that I already have ongoing, but long term I will keep this as boot disks and then use NVMe SSDs for a read cache in the future, and replace all the spinning disks with SSDs. And then I will probably consider an upgrade to gigabit Ethernet, to 10 gigabit Ethernet, and perhaps a different setup. Yeah. We also have 2 SATA cables for the boot disks and 4 2 terabyte Red Plus drives. I wish I wouldn't go for Western Digital, but this is what we have. So yeah, let's get to the installation. Now I'm going to remove the current boot disks and replace them with the 2 Samsung SSDs that I just got. And now we'll connect the 2 new shorter SATA cables to the motherboard. Now all I have to do is install the hard drives into the base. They are very loose and a bit soft, like the plastic's a bit soft, but since I don't intend to be changing hard drives all that often, it's good enough. The lock seems to be very useless, but it is here, and if you want to use it, if you buy this case, you can do it, of course. Before putting this in production, I need to make sure that the hard drives are fine. So I actually let this SATA cable hanging out here, and I'm gonna boot from my old Linux installation just to run the smart drive tests and confirm everything is fine. The next steps are very simple. So all I have to do now is boot the system from the SSD and then just do fdisk grepping the devices to make sure that I can see all the drives in all bays at the same time. You can see here that both SSDs were detected, SDF and SDE, and the 4 hard drives, the spinning disks, are on the bottom, SD A, B, C, and D. The first test to run is a short smart drive disk. I forgot that when you do a smart drive command, you send the command to the hard drive and then the application quits. So here I'm just outputting, the results from smart control to text files, but there is no need to do that really. You just have to run it and then come back and probe the hard drive for the results. The next test is the conveyance test. I'm not sure exactly what it does, but the TrueNAS community recommends running it before putting a hard drive in production, so I will run it.